What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon Music. Sooner state of mind family, what is good? Sleep in the stars, don't you cry, dry your eyes on the wind. Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is over. This Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, it's going down. That is right. Our 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners will host the Illinois State Redbirds. Sooners are 35.5-point favorites. I think I'll take those points. And I am so stoked, baby. Just 3 Sterling Shepherds away from this game. And I am fired up. So let's get this show cracking. Illinois State University. Fun fact, located in Normal, Illinois. They'll play in Norman, Oklahoma on Saturday. I wonder if that's ever happened before. I do not think so. They are members of the Missouri Valley Football Conference in the FCS level. Redbirds. They began playing in 1887. It's one of the oldest FCS football programs out there. Their mascot, Reggie Redbird, named in honor of baseball legend Reggie Jackson. And if you don't know who that is, go look it up. It's Mr. October. Little spoiler there. Their head coach, Brock Spack, he's in his 17th year coaching Illinois State. Last year, 10-4, 6-2 in the conference. They made it to the second round of the FCS playoffs before getting bounced by UC Davis. Playoff team from last year. Returning at quarterback, Tommy Rittenhouse, just under 3,000 yards passing last year. Also coming back at running back, Wenkers Wright. He had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. And receiving Daniel Sobkowicz, maybe? He had over 1,100 receiving yards. So lots of offensive production coming back for these Redbirds. I think it's going to be a tough time sledding against this OU defense. And on the other side, linebacker Ty Nykamp, he led the team in tackles with 113 and led the team in interceptions with 4. Overall, these Redbirds, they're ranked 6th nationally in the FCS preseason top 25. So this is a pretty solid team for the SCS level. 6th nationally, but projected to finish 4th in their own conference. So I don't know a lot about these Redbirds. I can't say that I've seen them play a lot. I think they're going to have their hands full or their wings or their talons, whatever the hell they would use to grab a football. But I don't expect them to get much going on Saturday. But you know what? That's enough of that Redbird crap. Let's get to what we've all been waiting for, our 2025 Oklahoma Sooners. Now, earlier in the week, the Sooners dropped their depth chart for opening week, and few surprises on there at some of the positions. This is just week 1, people. It is going to change from week to week. So, at running back, Javonte Barnes getting the number 1 spot there on the depth chart, followed by Torrey Blaylock. Lots of excitement around Blaylock. Up over 200 pounds, 5'11". He's looked good in practice. They've actually been very thin at running back, so Barnes and Blaylock have gotten the majority of the work. Might see some Jaden Ott in the return game. And Xavier Robinson will probably get a little play here too. Not sure how much we need to see any of these guys more than 10, 15 carries. Hopefully they distribute the ball and everybody gets a taste. I'm expecting an easy game on Saturday. I could be totally wrong. I could have a lot of misplaced confidence, but I do not think that is the case. I think the Sooners are going to roll. I think a lot of the young bloods will get a lot of playing time in this game. A little bit shocking when it came out this week is that Jaron Kanik was number 1 on the depth chart at tight end, made the transition from defense to offense this year, just wanted to help this team in any way possible. And that meant jumping back to the other side of the ball. No stranger to playing offense, did a bunch of that in high school. But I think the shocking thing is that he is the number 1 tight end on the depth chart. And Arbuckle said he was just handling his business in practice, running great routes, really attacking the ball, making the play when it was there to be made. So that's pretty exciting. Can't wait to see how that experiment goes. Last year, so banged up at the receiver position. It was hard to get guys on the field. I know it's only been the preseason so far, but it looks like the depth at the receiver position is going to be absolutely ridiculous here. Isaiah Satania coming up from Arkansas, the speedster. They expect a lot out of this guy, and I cannot wait to see it. Jacob Jordan, kind of the fan favorite last year, had some big games to see with him with another year under his belt. But Deion Burks, coming over from Purdue, expected huge things out of this guy last year, was hurt and could never really get back going. So out of fall camp, he has been dominating in practice. So I can't wait to see that on the playing field there. Zion Kearney's healthy. He should be back. Keontez Lewis at the X. They like him. But the guy that you keep hearing about, Elijah Thomas, 6 foot, 194 pounds, the freshman. Hitting a ton of good positive reviews coming out about the work he's been putting in fall camp. We'll see if that translates to the field on Saturday. I'm not sure how aggressive this team needs to be in the passing game, but I expect them to get it going. This will be the first start for John Mateer. Michael Hawkins Jr. will probably get some playing time in this game too. So many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Moving to that offensive line, another huge area that just was brutalized last year. Could barely get 5 starters, much less getting the best guy at each position. Just had to get bodies out there. That has not been the case this offseason for the Sooners. And I think what might have me most stoked is we're looking at left tackle Michael Fasusi set to start, or Jacob Sexton, but just seeing Fasusi up there already gets me psyched about his future. Guard EPL might be up there to start. He's right behind Ozeda there, but we're going to see both of these guys get on the field. Troy Everett starting at center, most likely. Right guard, Fabechi and Awu, senior, looked to start there, but right behind him, Ryan Froge. So these young guys are battling to get on the playing field, and I'm just stoked. There's lots of competition at every position, but that these youngsters are getting up in there and competing with the upperclassmen. That tells me good things are ahead for these guys, and I'm excited for that, especially how banged up it all was last year. It was just brutal and unforgiving, but that should not be the case this season. Flip it over to the other side of the ball, and I guess where I'm most stoked, although there's plenty of stoke to go around, most stoked up front, defensive tackle. We are absolutely loaded. Jaden Jackson, he's back. Grayson Halton, he's back and healthy. Trent Wilson's going to see a little playing time. Nigel Smith, Dominic Williams, David Stone. What has Stone done this offseason? He's gotten stronger. He's gotten bigger. He's over 300 pounds. Dude is ready to dominate. Marcus Strong, This might be the deepest set of defensive tackles in the SEC. I know that is saying a lot, but trust, I think we're going to see good things from these guys. And then on both ends of the line, we got pass rushers galore. Marvin Jones Jr. is set to start. Taylor Wine. People are falling in love with this guy. I can't wait to see what he does on the field. And Danny Okoye. Everybody has talked about what a monster this guy has been in fall camp. If anything that he's done translates to the field on Saturday, it is going to be a wrecking crew. Oh, and by the way, on the other side of the ball, you got R. Mason Thomas, who BV said could have left to get 7 figures, but wanted to come back and be part of this squad. He's going to get a lot more than that when he goes to the NFL. This is really going to be the season for him to shine in front of everybody and become that household name. PJ, we got to see PJ step it up. Hopefully he can be healthy and contribute to this defense as well. So as far as it goes up front and the pass rushers, we are in good shape. Kobe McKenzie going to get the start at Mike. Kip Lewis at will, but they are deep there. Kendall Daniels comes over from Okie State. He's going to play at the will, but he's also dialed in to be the starter at the cheetah position. I love that. And then the defensive secondary, lots of competition there. Lots of young blood stepping up to take those roles, man. It's exciting time. BV has done a great job of getting a ton of talent on that side of the ball. This has been BV everywhere he's gone, though. He's getting the guys. They're learning the system. And it's probably going to be a little bit vanilla on Saturday. That's okay. They don't have to show everything. But in 2 weeks, when we go against Michigan, look for them to unleash hell on the true freshman quarterback. Oh, it is going to be fun. I am so stoked for this weekend. It's been a long time coming, and I expect good things out of our Sooners. Might not see Eli Bowen or Kendall Dolby, but hopefully they're healthy and ready to go. But Courtland, Guillory, and Gentry Williams. Secondary, dude, I'm telling you, there is a crap ton of great players there. Competition's going to be heavy, and I am just so stoked to see what these dudes do once they get out on the field and start making plays. I expect those Redbirds to be overwhelmed. But what I'm most stoked to see on Saturday, John Mateer. This was kind of the prize jewel of all the offseason transfer portal action. Comes over with Ben Arbuckle. Sure, it's a new offense, but when your quarterback knows it, that's the most important role because he can teach it to everybody else along with Arbuckle. So can't wait to see what this guy does. The word out of camp is he's looking great. He's thick. He's ready to go. I'm sure he's chopping at the bit. And, of course, we saw the video where he stoked all his teammates out with the Beats headphones, the Sooner edition. It's going to be great. And when BV has had good quarterback play, his teams have been pretty good. When he hasn't had that QB, it has been tough. Mateer last season threw for over 3,100 yards, had 21 passing touchdowns, added another 825 rushing yards, and 15 TDs on the ground. It's a prolific weapon, man. BV said, I studied a lot of game tape of Washington State. Lots, 2 years worth, and certainly he was on there a lot. I feel like I knew him before he got here, what he's about, his makeup, his instinct, his skill, his capacity. I'm loving that. I am loving it. Last year we talked about how brutal it was with the receivers. Mateer's had, for the most part, most of them healthy and has been working with them in spring ball and the summer and fall ball. I'm pretty stoked about that. We talked about running back position, a healthy Javonte Barnes. Can he pick up that form he had as a freshman with the Sooners? It's his time to shine. We're super deep there, but I would love to see him come out and be the back that we think he is. and this defense. Man, bunch of 300-pounders up front. We are finally looking like an SEC defensive line. And the type of players that the Sooners have and are getting is going to be a problem for offensive lines. Speaking of problems for offensive lines, the Sooners picked up another defensive lineman for 2026. We're talking Hopewell, Virginia, defensive lineman T. Ron Richardson. This guy's a 3-star. But Nagy said, we're not looking at stars. We're looking at tape. We're doing the measurables. We're evaluating these guys. We don't care what other people have them marked at. And 3 stars, it's fine because it really doesn't matter. Richardson chose the Sooners over Vatech, Penn State, Maryland, Syracuse. A bunch of other schools wanted him. But when he came and did his official visit in Norman, he said he walked away with a strong impression. He said, quote, "It was a great visit, being around the people, feeling the energy. I actually thought about committing during that visit, but I wanted to weigh everything and make sure." He said, "Through it all, Oklahoma stayed consistent and my feelings never changed." And he said, "I picked Oklahoma because of Coach Bates, the Soul Mission program. They have to set me up for life after football and the community, the fans, the support. I love it. It's all real." We've talked about this. BV and company want to prepare these guys for life after football. Not only are they getting great football players, they want to turn them into great contributors to society away from football. That is something that was completely lacking in the previous administration, almost 180 degrees, if you will. BV said as much without saying as much earlier in this week. He said when he first got to OU as a program, we had a ton of issues, a 2.2 team GPA, a lot of failed drug tests. We had to completely start over. And BV never threw any of those cats under the bus. He just went to work. He took all the slings and arrows from everybody outside the program saying he wasn't a head coach. This dude is. I've never wavered in my support for this guy because I know that he is building the program in the right way. He's getting the right type of guys on the program, the right character, setting them up. He cares about them as people and players. And we're going to see that work pay off as the years turn over and the type of guys we get in the program. I just love what is going on with these Sooners. Would we have liked it to happen a little bit quicker? Sure. Of course we would, but it hadn't. You know, we got Dylan Gabriel. He was balling out, had the concussion, missed a few games in that first season. Had he been healthy the whole time, I think he could have done even better. We win a couple more of those games. And then we saw what he did the next year. Couple terrible calls, especially the non-pass interference against Stoops. That team goes down there and beats Texas at the Cotton Bowl, one of Texas's best teams. And then last year we expected JFA to pick up the slack, the 5-star recruit, the Gatorade Player of the Year. Now, I know there was a ton of injuries up front and at the receiver position, but it just never came through. There were plays out there. And granted, Seth Luttrell, poor decision to bring him as OC. There was a lot working against Jackson Arnold, but for whatever reason, it just never clicked. So he moves on, and we move on, and we'll talk about that here in a couple weeks, but comes back. When BV has had good quarterback play, his teams have done well. We expect that out of John Mateer this season. Obviously won't get a huge taste week 1 against these Redbirds, but week 2 when Michigan comes to town, we're going to see what Mateer can do against a really good defense, a team that's removed from the national championship just 2 years ago and actually beat the eventual national champions in Ohio State last year. So Michigan's still a squad. They're working in some new players. They've lost a lot in their coaching staff, but they're getting great players in there, and that is going to be one hell of a game. But we get a little amuse-bouche before we get to that and what should be easy sledding for these Sooners. So never overlook your opponent, but I don't think we have anything to worry about on Saturday. And if I come back crying next week, we'll realize that this hubris was greatly overvalued, but I do not think that's going to be the case. So we mentioned we got the late kickoff for our Sooners on Saturday. That means we get to watch a couple radical games if YouTube TV works this crap out with Fox, which maybe by the time we release the show, that will have happened. Otherwise, I got to go over to a friend's house that's got DirecTV. That's an early start here on the West Coast, but I'll roll in with some bagels and some coffee. Who the hell doesn't like it when you bring breakfast over? So that might be the case, but there is no bigger game on Saturday than number 1, Texas, 2 S's, at number 3, Ohio State Buckeyes, the reigning national champion Buckeyes, who kicked the crap out of those dirty Beavos in last year's CFP semifinal. Ohio State at home, favored by 1.5, even though they're the number 3 ranked team in the country. I'm going to go back to that CFP semifinal. Ohio State won 28-14 at the Cotton Bowl. Tons of Texas fans in attendance for that thing. Oh, man. I remember Travion Henderson. Huge screen pass from Will Howard right before halftime. Gave them a 14-7 lead. And in the second half, Texas tied it up. But in the fourth quarter, Ohio State and Judkins got up to 21-14. And then Texas driving back to tie this game up. 4th and goal from the OSU 8-yard line. Texas, all that domination, their best team in 20 years, is for surely going to put this in and get the game tied. Wrong. Ewers fumbled under pressure from Jack Tom Sawyer. Hear the rush come on the radio. Boom, 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 boom. He returned it 83 yards for the defensive touchdown. Ohio State goes up 28-14. Gets that big win and rides it to a natty. And Texas comes up short yet again on the biggest stage. They are used to it. But this preseason, we are hearing a ton about this Texas squad. Supposedly $40 million roster. Plenty of money down there in Austin. I don't know if you've heard about this guy, Arch Manning. Supposedly after this year is going straight to the NFL. Pop says no, that's not the case necessarily. But this will be his first season at the starting QB. And Heisman hype, greatest of all time hype, all the hype you can think about surrounding this guy. He's obviously got the bloodline. His uncles both won multiple Super Bowls in the NFL. No natties for either of those quarterbacks, though, in college. So lots of pressure on Arch, but he and the family did things the right way. Didn't push him to start. Kept his trap shut last year. Let Ewers go out, the main dude there. Bought his time, and now he's ready to take over. But he's got to go into Ohio State on a team, this Texas team that's lost a ton of talent. I think between both of these teams, 26 or so players into the NFL draft. So it's got to go into a hostile environment and try to get that first win of the year. Easier said than done. Ohio State, they've lost a ton of players too. Will Howard, he's off to the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Julian Sayin, the 5-star recruit out of Alabama, he's going to be the week 1 starter. So not a lot of playing experience for either of the QBs in this game. Whoever makes the least catastrophic error in this team in the game will probably win this game. Jeremiah Smith last year for Ohio State. Absolutely dominated everywhere. He's back. We'll see what kind of chemistry he's got with Sayin. I'm sure those cats have been working all offseason. Not only the players they've lost, Ohio State lost Jim Knowles. He goes to Penn State, is the new DC there. And Chip Kelly, he goes to the NFL with the Las Vegas Raiders to be the OC there. So lots of change for both of these teams, but specifically Ohio State. The line opened at 2.5 for the Buckeyes. It's down to 1.5. This is going to be an incredible game. And the best thing about it, now with the 12-team playoff, you can schedule games like this, and if you lose, it doesn't ruin your season. There's time to bounce back. This is an incentive now for these teams to put big-time matchups in their non-conference schedule. We're going to see more of this, especially if we get to 16 teams. But what a tremendous way to start. So really, hopefully, Fox and YouTube TV work this stupid deal out. If not, it is going to be a riot out there, and that will just be a lose-lose for everybody. And that's not the only great game on the Saturday slate. We have number 4 Clemson at number 9 LSU. That'll be happening during the Sooners game, so I'll have to have both games up. Hopefully, we have our game well in hand before this thing starts. Clemson starts out on the road as a 4-point favorite. Clemson, the ACC favorite in the season to take that conference. LSU, ranked number 9. They kind of got it going towards the end of the year last year. They're returning Nussmeier, one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC this year. Klubnik's coming back for Clemson. As of now, I think he might be the number 1 QB drafted if he were to come out. And shockingly, speaking of number 1 QBs to come out, LSU has not won an opening week game since Joe Shiesty beat the Georgia Southerns 55-3 in 2019. LSU has not won an opening week 1 game since 2019. They lost to Mississippi State. They lost to UCLA, back-to-back losses to Florida State, and last year they lost to Suck. How did that happen? Can Brian Kelly get this turned around? Will they be bringing the pitchforks if he doesn't? If they lose this game on Saturday, it's not a season ender. We just talked about that, but this is a huge game, and the winner is set up, especially with 1 and 3 playing in the morning before that. Thursday night football, Friday night football, awesome slate of Saturday football. Also got Bama and a Florida State. What else is on that Saturday schedule? Bama, Florida State. Yeah. Decent games, nothing great. Okay, but the point here is there's a ton of football back, so that is going to be pretty good. Marshall at Georgia, will that be kinky? Don't know. Probably not, but you never know. Nonetheless, Syracuse at Tennessee, that could be a pretty good game as well. So got lots of football on Saturday, but the point, as I was regressing, that I'm getting to is that we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday football, and Sunday it is the Catholics versus the Convicts, kicking it old school. Number 6, Notre Dame at number 10, Miami. The Domers are 2.5-point favorites in this one. And the last time we saw these Domers, it was in the national championship where they lost to Ohio State 34-23. New look Notre Dame. C.J. Carr take over, the freshman at quarterback, taking over for Riley Leonard, who also bounced to the NFL. Lots of expectation on this Notre Dame squad, especially since they kind of figured it out towards the end of the season and made that run to the championship game. They were great at running the ball last year. Jeremiah Love is back. He's also a potential Heisman candidate. Had a great rushing season last year. Notre Dame, stout defense. They did lose some players to the NFL, but this is a team that it's expected to compete, and we'll see what they do on the road week 1. Miami will have a new look too. Carson Beck, the transfer from Georgia, had all this hype and expectation with the Bulldogs. Couldn't get over the hump. Got hurt late last season, and depends who you ask, got a couple, 2, 3, 4 milli to go down to Miami. Will the change of scenery be enough for him? Showed some, I don't know if I would call it regression last year, but didn't live up to the expectation. So Beck will get a reprieve and see what he can do down there in Miami. Miami's got a stout defense too, but can they stop that Notre Dame running game? It's going to be a little bit tricky. And then up on the other side of the ball, can the freshman quarterback Carr handle the road and that Miami defense? And what will Carson Beck do with his new squad? It is going to be fun, and I cannot wait to see it. And we mentioned Notre Dame with the new look. They really do have a new look. They are updating the leprechaun. Made his debut in 1964 on the cover of Time. They gave that little guy a football now. No longer looking to eat those Lucky Charms. He is running the rock. And why would they do that? Because they can sell a shit ton of brands, a lot of shirts, all new gear. Oh, you had the old gear. Now you need it with the new leprechaun. So it's pretty cool. It's going to look good. I like the Notre Dame color scheme when they work the green in there. Also the navy and gold. It's a classic. I'm not sure what helmet they're going to wear on Saturday, but they are going to look good doing so. And then on Sunday, we get our first look at Bill Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels hosting TCU. What will the hoodie do in college? We've talked about this all offseason too. He's brought in Lombardi. They're trying to do a pro-style program there at North Carolina, much like what the Sooners are doing with Jim Nagy. They're ahead of this curve. I don't know that they have the talent that the Sooners have, but those rings bring in a caliber of player. You say, oh, you want to get to the NFL? You want to win Super Bowls? This is a guy that's done it 8 times. Listen to him and good things will happen. So they're getting that program churned and they will get more talent. And if they come out here and win this game in a rocking crowd on Monday night, that is going to help. I'm sure they're going to have a ton of recruits in the house for that one as well. It is going to be good. People, college football is back. How stoked are you? I'm guessing not as stoked as I am, but there's always plenty of stoke to go around on Sooner State of Mind. So I guess we're out of here then. Not so fast, my friend. Oh, yeah. This weekend marks the last episode of College Game Day with Lee Corso. You know there's going to be a few tear-jerker moments in there. Rolling the B-roll, showing some of these things that they've put together to get the waterworks going. What a legendary career. It's definitely time for Coach to ride off into the sunset, but such a prolific career on the field and then on TV. Obviously, the headgear kind of transformed the way the Saturday game day experience was. People tuned in just to see him put the mascot head on, and now we have the Fox Big Saturday show too. All of this has spawned from the success of College Game Day and Coach Corso, a huge part of that success. Sad to see him go, but happy as well. It is time, but it is going to be tremendous Saturday, and that's going to be a huge part of it. And college football is back, and it's been such a long wait, even though there's been a ton of news in the offseason. I can't wait to get this thing going. And then next week, Big Blue coming to Normantown, University of Michigan. Oh, that thing is going to be epic. So let's kick the crap out of these Redbirds and get to chill in and get ready for next week. If you need more football love in your life, head on over to Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind. That's Sooner State of Mind. And my friends, you are locked, baby. We have a ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere. That is Believe.com. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there. Got a tasty 32-team NFL preview for you right there. It's a little twofer. Come get your Sooner State of Mind action and come get a little NFL action as well. And in case you forgot, my name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner State of Mind.